Alright, hey guys, we're now on day 8, so we're in the second half of the program. And what we're going to be looking at and talking about for the next 5 days is 5 opportunities where you can connect with your partner. And what happens is we're going to be looking at some particular times of the day and some particular encounters where what you do has more emotional significance than other times. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off talking about coming home. And there's actually been quite a lot of research about what happens in this brief period after you come home will tend to set the tone for the entire evening. And so I often say to clients, it's a little bit like triple bonus points. If you do really good in organizing what happens when you come home, you're going to get triple bonus points for that. And if you don't do really good for that, then your relationship bank account is going to lose triple bonus points. And so the fact is, out of all of these connection or attachment windows that we're going to be talking about, this particular one is the most common time to disconnect. And I'm not going to do a full explanation, but in short, basically what happens for a lot of men is our testosterone tends to be relatively low because we're at the end of a working day. And so often, men who are low in testosterone tend to be irritable, grumpy, and don't tend to want to talk. It's also a time where, if a woman's been apart from her partner, for her lover, she's going to want to reconnect, whether she's had a good day or a bad day, and so she's going to want to recharge or share her oxytocin levels, and that the way that women will mostly tend to do that is with talking. And so a low testosterone guy in most cases is not really going to want to talk. And even if he is a talker, men often tend to talk at a more factual level rather than a more connecting level. So it's a really high opportunity for a miss. And so one of the things that I recommend couples to try is when they come home, what we want to do is we want to create a way to connect that doesn't involve talking, just particularly in that window there. And so for men, there's 2 things we want you to do. And so one of them is when you come home, before you walk in the door, what I want you to do is stop somewhere a minute or 2 from home, stop the car, or get off the bus or whatever, sit down on a bench on a park somewhere, take a moment, breathe slowly for a minute or 2, let go of anything that's happening at work and think about what's happening at home, what's happening for your partner. If you're at home and your partner's coming home, then you can do the same thing just to prepare yourself to emotionally connect with your partner. And basically what this does is this helps that 4-year-old part of our brain that thinks, oh my God, I had a hard day at school, I'm going to go home and and mom's going to make me cookies and I'm going to watch cartoons. So we come home in a state where we're really expecting that our partner's just going to take care of us, which doesn't tend to work too well because our partner's also had a tough day, regardless of what she's doing as well. So that's a pro tip for men. And so then the second thing we want you to do is when you're coming into the house is to initiate a hero hug. And so we've got a demo of how to do that hug in one of the other videos. But basically you're going to come in, plant yourself in the ground, take your partner into her arms, draw her gently into your space, put your hand just on the back of her head, take a deep breath, just allow her to come closer, just hold her nice and firmly, breathe in, and just take a moment to enjoy that sense of her being, in your arms, close to your body. And what this does is this really helps regulate our nervous system, and it will also give us a boost of testosterone, which helps reset us for kind of like the second shift of being home. So that's the pro tips for guys. For women, it's a little bit tougher in terms of this one, because initiating hug in some ways can be a little bit more complicated for women. But in general, the tip that we would basically do is to, so if your partner's not doing this exercise, when he comes home, smile, give him a hug, and when you come out of the hug, stroke firmly down his back and over his butt. And the reason we do this is it's a major erogenous zone for guys, and it will tend to boost his level of testosterone. And he may be sort of thinking, okay, I'm not sure what's happening here, but just smile and walk away. And that in itself will leave him kind of being a little bit interested, a little bit curious, and that can be an opportunity to try a reset. But probably for him, the biggest thing that you can do is do that smile. So if the stroking his butt feels really weird and too much of a stretch, just give him a smile and say, hey honey, nice to see you. And so you're making that first encounter when you come home a soft encounter, a gentle encounter. And then if you've got stuff that you want to talk about, just save that for at least 20 minutes after he's arrived home, and then you can do a check-in and say, hey, is now a good time to talk.